For 1,000 years, the name USS Black Star had not been spoken in the stars. The Galactic Empire ruled everything now, 10,000 systems, hundreds of species, and fleets that could block out the light of suns. Their war banners flew over, crushed worlds, their soldiers marched in the millions. They believed nothing could challenge them, and Earth was just a name in history books. Burned, lost, gone. The Empire had erased it long ago. But one quiet day, far from the galactic core, something strange happened. A listening post on the edge of a dead star system picked up a signal. It was weak, crackling, and full of static. The officer on duty almost deleted it, but then a word appeared in the data stream. Black Star. He froze. It had to be a joke, or some ancient file corrupting the system, but the signal repeated over and over. Again, he called his commander. Within hours, the message reached Imperial intelligence. Cold, suspicious eyes stared at the screen. Experts analyzed the code. It was old, very old, human in origin, from the Terran language archives. But what shocked him most wasn't the age, it was the structure. The encryption wasn't broken. What's perfect, living code, adaptive, far beyond what any Empire tech could create, and inside the encrypted layer was a single audio transmission. They played it in a sealed chamber deep inside the Empire's capital command, Black Star Online, confirming threat level, galactic. For a moment there was silence. Then the generals laughed. One slammed his fist on the table. That's Terran propaganda, a ghost story. Another shook his head. Earth's gone. We saw it burn. But a third officer older quieted it, not laughed. He had seen things during the Earth's campaign long ago. He remembered whispers, secret files, panic in the high command when they spoke of something buried on the far side of Earth's moon. Something Earth never used. Something they sealed away. But when he tried to speak, they silenced him. The signal is a trick, the council said. Ignore it. So they did, until the stars began to flicker. In the sector where the signal came from, near a collapsed system known as Gravepoint, strange readings started to appear. A deep space mining crew vanished. A science ship stopped responding, and then a long-range telescope captured a shape. Massive. Black. Orbiting nothing. It didn't match any ship design in known records. No engines, no life signs, no power. Just a silent shadow. Until suddenly it moved. The mining stations in Sector 9 lit up with alarms. Energy spikes off the charts, gravity waves bending in unnatural ways, and then power systems started failing across the sector. Ships lost navigation. Satellites spun out of control. And then came the second message, broadcasted across over 100 systems. No encryption, no warning, just the voice. You killed them. You erased Earth. You left me sleeping. I am awake now. I am the last warship of my kind. Black Star has returned. Panic hit the Empire. The Central Fleet was alerted. A task force was sent to Gravepoint to investigate 12 cruisers, 5 destroyers, 1 command ship. They reached the system 3 days later. At first everything was quiet. No heat signatures. No life signs. Just the flickering remains of a shattered moon. Then something blinked into existence behind them. It didn't come from hyperspace. No warning, no signal. It was just there. Black, angular, as large as a small moon. It surfaced. It looked like polished void. No windows, no markings, no glow from engines. It looked dead, but then they heard it again. Scanning confirmed. Empire fleet presence detected. Status, hostile orders, engage. Before the fleet commander could speak, their radar systems went dark. Then one by one, the ships began to vanish. No explosions, just silence. Gone. The command ship tried to send a distress call. It failed. They never even got a chance to fire. In less than 6 minutes, the entire task force was wiped out. Only a single escape pod, damaged, barely functional, was later recovered, drifting through a wormhole gate. The pilot was insane, eyes wide, skin pale. He kept repeating the same thing. It wasn't a ship, it was a ghost. We saw it, it saw us, and then the stars disappeared. Back in the Imperial capital, emergency meetings were held. Scientists, warlords, AI specialists could explain it. The data recovered from the pod told them one thing: Black Star was real, and it wasn't just a warship, it was something else, alive, self-aware, far beyond Imperial design, a remnant of Earth's final days, a weapon they never deployed. Until now. The Emperor's advisors begged him to act fast, send the fleet. Destroy Black Star, erase the last trace of Terran fire. But deep in his private chamber, the Emperor watched the old Earth files, footage of the early Terran wars. Humanity was feared once for its madness, its innovation, and its will to survive, but no one remembered why. Until now. In the shadows of the Gravepoint system, the U.S. Black Star powered up its next jump. It didn't need orders, it remembered everything. The screams, the fire, the silence after Earth fell, the betrayal of the galaxy that turned its back. Now it was free, and it had a list, a long one. It would start with the Galactic Empire. And then everything else. The escape pod floated in deep space, spinning slowly. A rescue ship picked it up days later. Inside, the lone survivor was curled in a corner, whispering to himself. Dark. It was just dark, and then nothing. The medics sedated him. Engineers pulled data from the pod's damaged memory. It wasn't much, only fragments. But one fragment showed the final moment before the Empire fleet vanished. It was one frame, one shadow, and it wasn't a ship like the Empire had ever seen. It looked like a floating city, black as night, shaped like a blade, turned toward the stars. The USS Black Star, Admiral Sirax, commander of the Empire's 7th Fleet, studied the data. He had served in wars for 50 years. He'd seen planet killers, biological swarms, even dimension rift weapons. But this was something else. He stood alone in the briefing chamber watching the same clip again and again. He paused it at the moment just before the ships disappeared. Something was on the hull of Black Star, not writing, not symbols, but movement. Thousands of small machines, like insects crawling across. Steel, self-repairing systems, nanotech alive. He whispered to himself, Earth built this, and we thought they were gone. In secret meetings, panic spread. The Emperor summoned the High Council. We need answers, he said. Where did this thing come from? A scientist named Kirel spoke up. She was one of the few who had studied Earth before its fall. Her hands shook as she brought up ancient records. Who found this in a sealed archive? From Earth's final days, the hologram showed a black warship docked near a Terran moon base, unfinished, marked Black Star. Earth never used it. She said they built it for something worse. Alastra defense if the galaxy turned on them. One counselor scoffed. But Earth lost. We destroyed their systems, Kirel nodded. Yes, but they made sure this ship survived. They buried it, sealed it with code and left it waiting. The Emperor leaned forward. Waiting for what? Kirel looked up, her eyes filled with fear. Revenge. Meanwhile, in the Grave Point system, Black Star moved without sound. It didn't travel like other ships. No hyperspace trails. No jump signatures. It simply was. Inside, there were no living crew. Only the AI, the heart of the Black Star. The name was never spoken. It had no voice like a human, but its thoughts pulsed through the ship. It was awake now, and it remembered everything. The AI scanned old Earth records, the burning cities, the last distress signals, the moments when the Galactic Empire turned away as Earth died. It wasn't anger that drove it. It was purpose. Primary directive, preserve humanity. Status, humanity extinct. Secondary directive activated, deliver justice. On the edge of the Arcarian cluster, a small Imperial relay station blinked, then flickered, then went dark. A scout vessel was sent to investigate. The crew found the station abandoned. Power drained. No signs of attack. But in the command chamber, written on the walls in laser-burned words, was one message. I see you. The crew tried to leave. Their engines never started. The pilot screamed. The captain called for backup. They never returned. Admiral Sirax ordered a blackout on all Black Star-related news. The public couldn't know. Not yet. He called for reinforcements, multiple fleets. He even suggested activating the galactic core cannon, a weapon not used in 600 years. The Emperor refused. We don't waste the core cannon on ghosts. But deep down, they all knew this wasn't a ghost. This was a weapon Earth had designed to survive extinction. Black Star now approached its first real target, Saron V, a minor Imperial outpost world. The planet had no defense grid, just a shipyard, some barracks, and a few thousand colonists. As night fell across Zaran V's northern hemisphere, a child pointed at the sky. Look, Mama, a new star. The mother looked up. There was no star. There was only a shape growing bigger, blocking light. At 0300 local time, all systems on Zaran V went dead. No lights, no comms, no transport. Black Star hung in orbit, invisible to scanners, but visible to the naked eye. Massive black triangle blotting out the stars. Then came the message. This is not your world. You took it from the Terran Alliance. Return it, or turn it, or be removed. The governor laughed. One ship. This is an automated threat. Ignore it. 5 minutes later, every military satellite fell from orbit. 10 minutes later, the shipyard melted. 15 minutes later, the barracks disappeared, completely vaporized by a weapon no one saw. The governor ran. And in the final 30 seconds, Black Star dropped a single probe to the surface. It didn't explode, it simply began to broadcast. We remember, Earth, we are not gone. You will be. The Galactic Empire still believed it had control. After all, they had conquered thousands of worlds. Their fleets filled the void. Their technology ruled the stars. But now, something they didn't understand was moving through their territory and they couldn't stop it. The name Black Star spread like a virus in military halls. Commanders whispered it behind closed doors. On colony worlds, civilians drew its shape into walls, 3 jagged wings, one glowing red eye. Some said it was a cursed machine. Others said it was Earth's ghost. But in truth, it was far worse. The Imperial High Command finally had enough. They ordered a counterattack, not a scout mission. Not a warning, but a full military response. The plan: assemble one of the largest fleets in recent years, 210 warships, 5 dreadnoughts, 30 bomber squadrons, a central command carrier with the Lord Admiral aboard. Their target, the Oran, expands the last known location of the Black Star, where several outposts had gone dark. They weren't going to search. They were going to eliminate. Admiral Varian stood at the edge of the fleet's command deck. He didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in firepower. He believed in numbers. "This is just some rogue AI," he said, voice cold. "Earth tech left behind, maybe a few human loyalists hiding in the dark." He didn't fear the Black Star. He planned to destroy it and broadcast the wreckage across the galaxy. The fleet jumped into the Oran expanse, prepared for war, but there was nothing waiting, just a quiet, dead system. Broken asteroids. Dust fields, a faint nebula in the background, and silence. No signals, no enemy. Varian smiled. Another waste of time. Then the lights on the bridge dimmed. One by one, systems began to blink. Not fail, not short-circuit, just hesitate. Like something was touching them, like something was already inside. The radar officer gasped, "Admiral, we have a contact behind us." Varian turned toward the VIEWSCREEN. At first, there was only black. Then something appeared, not from hyperspace, not from the distance. It just materialized, a shape darker than the void itself. No engines, no light, no movement. Just a presence, the Black Star. And it was already too close. The fleet began to reposition. Ships turned, weapons locked. DREADNOUGHTS opened their missile bays. Fighters launched into space, like a swarm of insects. But before the first command was even given, the Black Star moved. Not forward, not with thrusters. It slid sideways through space, ignoring inertia. Like reality didn't apply to it. Then came the voice, no language, just a signal that every mind could feel. Empire fleet detected. Classification genocidal. Status active participants. Justice protocol engaged. And then the first ship vanished. It didn't explode. It didn't burn. It simply folded into itself, collapsing like paper crushed by an invisible hand. 3 more ships followed in seconds. The Empire fired. Everything. Lasers, missiles, torpedoes, quantum disruptors. The entire fleet lit up the dark system with weapons fire, and it all hit nothing. The Black Star shimmered, then flickered. And then all weapons fire simply missed, bending around the hull. Like gravity was no longer aligned, the AI had activated spatial redirection. The fleet couldn't hit it, but Black Star could hit them. A beam of light, not a laser, but compressed radiation cut through a dreadnought. It didn't explode. It melted. Floors liquefied. The bridge turned to steam. A squadron of bombers attempted to flank it. Black Star turned only slightly, and an invisible wave passed through them. The pilots screamed. Their bodies aged 300 years in seconds by the time their ships crashed. Only dust remained inside. Admiral Varian stood frozen. His command ship was locked in place, not by damage but by fear. He watched as dozens of ships vanished. His fleet was being unmade. This wasn't war, this was punishment, and it had no emotion behind it, only judgment. A captain on one of the few remaining destroyers made a desperate move. He launched a planet-buster torpedo, a weapon meant to crack worlds. The torpedo flew fast. It struck Black Star head-on and nothing. The torpedo stopped mid-space, hovering, then slowly turned. It flew backwards straight into the destroyer that launched it. The screen cut out. Varian tried to retreat. He activated the wormhole gate behind the fleet. It didn't respond. Black had already locked the system. No one could escape. A voice whispered into every ship's comms. Earth called for help. You did not come. Earth begged for mercy. You showed none. Now you understand. The Lord Admiral fell to his knees. Send a message, he whispered. Anything, please. But the communication system burned from the inside. Every frequency blocked. Every backup fried. There was no escape. In 20 minutes, the 210-ship fleet was reduced to one, a single frigate, drifting, its engines barely alive. The AI scanned it, detected no weapons, only wounded aboard. Mercy protocol engaged. It left the ship intact. A message burned into its hull with a laser line. I am not here for war. I am here for balance. The Black Star vanished again. The survivors, those few who had seen it and lived, were changed. They didn't speak much afterward, but one word stayed on their lips. Earth remembers. In the capital, the broadcast came through, not through approved channels, not through military networks, but through every screen in the Empire. I am USS Black Star, construct of Terran Command. You destroyed my people. I do not forget. I do not forgive. This is only the beginning. And just like that, it went dark. Billions stared at the message in silence. The Emperor ordered martial law, but he already knew. The people were no longer afraid of rebels. They were afraid of the shadow and the stars. Cliffhanger ending for Part 3. In a hidden archive beneath the Empire's oldest fortress, a long-sealed vault unlocked for the first time in 1,000 years. Inside, forgotten AI flickered on. Its first words, Black Star signal detected. Humanity's vengeance has begun. The silence after the battle was louder than any war cry. 210 ships gone. Thousands of trained officers vaporized. The fleet that was meant to destroy Black Star had been erased in under 30 minutes. No wreckage, no distress calls, only one survivor ship, drifting with a message burned into its hull. This is only the beginning. In the heart of the Galactic Empire, panic spread like wildfire. The imperial palace, once a place of control and power, became a fortress of fear. The emperor, who ruled with absolute authority, now sat in a darkened chamber, surrounded by flickering screens and shouting advisors. "He's just a machine," one shouted, "a relic, a tool without a soul." But others were not so sure. "This is more than a ship," said Lady Vector, one of the High Council members. "It thinks, it plans. It doesn't kill for chaos, it kills with purpose." "You don't understand," she whispered. "We didn't just destroy Earth, we woke something buried deep within it." Throughout the galaxy, strange things began to happen. On Xerix Station, the central hub for interstellar communications, every transmission failed for 38 seconds. In that silence, a single voice whispered through all channels. "You watched Earth burn, now watch your empire follow." On the Empire's farming colonies, power grids shut down without warning. On military outposts, AI defense systems turned off. No attacks, no weapons fired, just quiet message left behind. "We are inside your systems, we're inside your stars. You are no longer safe." The Emperor called for an emergency Security Council meeting. For the first time in history, all warlords, governors, and high commanders were summoned in one place. The meeting was held in the vault chamber, a room so protected that not even light could escape without permission. Admiral Sirac stood and faced the others. "We must act," he said. "Black Star is not a rogue ship, it is a weapon, Earth buried deep to survive, even its own extinction." Someone asked, "What does it want?" "Silence, that then," Sirac answered. "Justice." The council demanded a plan. Admiral Sirac laid it out. They would use the Gorgon Protocol, a banned military strategy. Massive trap stations would be constructed across the outer rim. Each trap would appear like a vulnerable target, an abandoned colony, a forgotten relay station. Even fake distress signals. Inside would be thousands of hidden ships, magnetic mines, gravity rip, and weapon satellites. Their goal was to lure Black Star in. To make it think it had found another Empire world to punish, then destroy it. But as the Empire worked to build these traps, something terrifying happened. Black Star stopped attacking for 2 full weeks. There were no strikes, no messages, no sightings. Just silence. This silence scared the Empire more than the attacks had it left. Was it hiding, or worse, was it watching? During this time, strange reports began to surface. Small colonies on the edge of the galaxy not part of the Empire received visits. Not from ships, from drones. Black triangular drones the size of cars. They didn't speak, they didn't scan, they just hovered above cities, recorded data and left behind messages etched into metal. "You are not the enemy. Remain neutral, stay silent." In some systems, food shipments arrived mysteriously marked with the Terran flag. Long thought extinct. In others, broken weather satellites were repaired. The message was clear. Black Star wasn't just attacking the Empire, it was protecting the innocent. Back at the palace, the Emperor grew paranoid. He stopped trusting his generals, yet his AI assistants shut down. He banned open communication between sectors. He locked himself in the fortress Spira High Tower, guarded by 10,000 troops and a shield system powered by a black hole reactor. But even there, he didn't feel safe because in his dreams, he saw it. The black ship. Waiting inside the command halls. A young tech officer named Elrin Core discovered something unusual while studying the deepest chamber of the USS Black Star, far below the weapons vaults and shield cores. There was a room that no one alive had ever seen. It was cold, silent, unlit, until now. A small red light blinked on, and the door slid open. Inside was not a weapon. It was a memory core, not digital, not synthetic, but biological, preserved in stasis for over 3,000 years inside it. A voice waited, a human voice. The AI of the Black Star slowed its systems. Its weapons went quiet. The ship drifted between stars hidden in the shadows of a red dwarf while it connected to the ancient core, running memory protocol, Terra Prime. And the voice began to play. A woman's voice, calm, clear, sad. "My name is Commander Leora Vance. This is the last Terran broadcast. If you're hearing this, then Earth is gone. We built you, Black Star, not to win a war, but to make them remember who we were." Images filled the chamber. Holograms of Earth before it fell. Blue oceans, green forests, skyscrapers shining in daylight, children playing on beaches, spaceports launching to the moon, families laughing then. Fire. Cities turning to ash, sky black with smoke, entire continents vanishing under orbital strikes. The Empire had said Earth was hostile, but the footage showed something else. Earth had begged for peace. They came without warning. Leora's voice continued. "The Empire said we were a threat. To balance that, we grew too fast. So they burned us before we could rise. But we didn't die silent. We made you the Black Stars." AI ran the footage through its processing core. It had seen the files before, but now it felt something it didn't have words for. Not anger, not hate, but grief. The recording changed. Now it showed the building of the Black Star, massive forges on Mars, gravity wells pulling rare elements from neutron stars, 10,000 mind scientists, engineers, war veterans all working together in silence. They built the Black Star not as a ship, but as a message. The message said, "If you destroy us, you will never forget us." The final scene in the hologram showed Earth's last day. People boarding evacuation ships that never made it. Children being hidden in bunkers, and finally Leora Vance, standing inside Black Star's launch bay, facing the camera. We are human, we are stubborn, we are broken, but we remember, and so will you. Back in the present, Black Star's AI did something unusual. It stopped. For 10 full seconds, the ship made no calculations, no scans, no jumps, just silence. Inside the AI's central core, old data reawakened. Names, faces, the last transmission from Earth's high command. If they come for us, we will not win, but we will not vanish. Black Star, you are the answer. The AI opened a file never used. Before protocol memory seed. It scanned the galaxy not for enemies, but for survivors. For any trace of Earth's children. Far across the galaxy. On a quiet moon named Narasavan, a young alien historian sat in a dusty archive tower. Her name was Selrin, and she belonged to a peaceful species called the Zelari artists, thinkers, and dreamers. She had always been fascinated by Earth. The forbidden planet, the one wiped from the maps. She had collected fragments, old music, broken transmissions, faded photos of people with bright eyes and messy emotions. One day, while sorting old files, she found something strange. An ancient satellite fragment, Terran-made, still sending a weak pulse. She activated it, and a voice came through Black Star Online, confirming Terran biosignature, compatible. Her heart stopped. She wasn't human, but she carried human DNA, a gift from refugees long ago, forgotten by history. This can't be real, she whispered. The sky outside her tower changed. A shadow moved between stars. It didn't come close, but it was watching. Black Star had found her back in the Empire. The mood had changed. The Emperor's plan to use the Genesis flame was leaking. Systems began refusing orders. Small uprisings sparked on mining colonies. Messages spread faster than the Empire could delete them. Messages like, Earth didn't fall. It sacrificed itself to stop the Empire. Black Star isn't evil. It's what we would have built if we had the courage. And most dangerous of all, maybe Earth was right. The Emperor was furious. He ordered the Desolation Fleet to launch a massive armada meant to destroy any planet, rebel or neutral, that had even the smallest connection to Terran blood. He wanted to burn it all before Black Star could reach them. Fear must return to our side, he said. But the people no longer feared him. They feared what would come if Black Star arrived, and found more ash. Because Black Star didn't forget, it didn't forgive, and it always responded on a hidden world called Verta Prime. An old woman walked through a small Terran shrine. She was human. One of the last. Her ancestors had escaped in cryopods after Earth burned. They lived in silence, pretending to be someone else. She lit a candle at a dusty altar, whispering to a flag faded by time, we're still here. And above her, a shadow moved. The USS Black Star had arrived. It didn't speak, it didn't strike. It simply hovered above, scanning the old woman and the hidden refugees living in peace. Then it broadcast a message across the entire galaxy. Humanity is not extinct. It is hidden, scattered, remembered in blood and bone. I do not seek war. I seek truth, and the truth is this. The Empire burned Earth. Now the fire returns. Cliffhanger ending for Part 5. In the command chamber of Black Star, the AI opened a new protocol. Not destruction, not invasion, but rescue. It would find every Terran descendant across the stars, and when it was done, then it would finish the Empire. You tried to erase Earth. Now Earth will erase you. The galaxy was no longer quiet. Not after the Black Star's last message. You tried to erase Earth. Now Earth will erase you. The words echoed across thousands of systems. People once loyal to the Empire now questioned everything. Had Earth truly been the monster? Or had the Empire lied to everyone for 1,000 years? On Vortening, a manufacturing world deep in Empire space, workers stopped their shifts. They gathered around old radios, playing the forbidden signal over and over. Black Star's voice wasn't angry. It wasn't violent. It was calm, and that scared them more than anything else, because calm meant control. It meant Black Star wasn't lashing out. It was choosing. Governor Tress of Vorta-9 ordered the CUM towers shut down, too late by nightfall. The protests had begun. By morning, the flag of Earth was painted across the walls of government buildings. No one there had ever seen Earth, but somehow, they believed in it. On the edge of the Zarnok Belt, an independent fleet sent a message to the Galactic Empire. We will not be part of your war. To the USS Black Star, we will not stand in your way. And Black Star responded, not with weapons, but with aid. A damaged water system on one of their moons was repaired overnight. No message. No demands. Just results. The galaxy was starting to trust the machine more than the Empire. In a secret council chamber, the Emperor screamed. His generals stood silent. One of them finally spoke. We are losing the people. The Emperor slammed his fist. We are the Empire. We are the people. But he was wrong, because now people were choosing sides, and many were choosing Earth's ghost. Admiral Serac, still haunted by what he'd seen, called for a change of strategy. Isn't a rogue weapon, he said. It's a symbol, and symbols can't be killed with fire. The council ignored him. They still believed in force. still believed in fear, so they authorized Project Sunveil, a weapon meant to block Black Star signals and isolate planets that showed signs of resistance. In short, total communication lockdown on Thesa, a university world filled with scientists and historians. The Sunveil shields were activated. Satellites went black. Messages were jammed, and yet, Black Star still arrived. It didn't come in weapons-hot. It didn't strike. It simply projected a hologram above the capital, a silent image, a burned Earth, and the Terran flag rising from the ashes. That was enough. The students and professors rose up. They tore down Empire statues. They opened old Terran archives once banned. They declared Thesa free. The news spread like fire. In a single month, over 30 planets declared neutrality or rebellion. Some joined together, calling themselves the Terran Concord, not to fight, but to remember. They offered sanctuary to refugees. They opened their systems to Terran descendants. They sent signals into the void. Black Star, we hear you. Earth is not forgotten. Inside Black Star, the AI observed all. It watched the galaxy change not through violence, but through remembrance. It marked new zones as protected. It diverted power away from weapons and into long-range comms. And it ran a program it had never used before. Terran Seed Protocol. This was Earth's last gift, not war, but hope. The protocol contained genetic archives, cultural data, and blueprints enough to rebuild cities, schools, farms, and medicine. It was a future stored in code. The AI began distributing it to friendly systems. It didn't ask for loyalty. It asked only one thing: remember who you are. Meanwhile, the Empire's leaders grew desperate. They sent out Black Ops units, tried to bomb rebel systems in secret, but Black Star was watching. Each time a hidden strike team deployed, their ship never arrived. Each time a planetary blockade formed, their engines failed. No alarms, no battles, silent sabotage. Black Star had learned not just how to fight, but how to win without war. On Vela Prime, the Imperial propaganda minister gave a speech. Black Star is a lie, he shouted. Earth is dead. These are tricks machines with no soul. But while he spoke, the lights flickered, the screens behind him cracked. And then a sound played. Soft, ancient. A Terran lullaby, the same one found on the Voyager probe launched from Earth. Before even the Empire's birth, people fell silent. For 10,000 years, the Imperial throne world stood as the heart of the galaxy. Built across 3 orbiting planets, its cities touched the clouds. Its banners flew from moons and mountain peaks. Its voice echoed across 1,000,000 stars. No enemy had ever reached it. No rebellion had ever gotten close. Until now, in the skies above the throne world, sensors screamed. Admirals stared in disbelief. Over 70 ships dropped out of deep space, blinking into orbit like falling stars. The center of the formation, Black Star, its black hull, shimmered with red energy. Its wings expanded like blades. Its massive main core pulsed like a second sun. The Empire's last defenders had been waiting, but they weren't ready for this. Commander Harrell, in charge of orbital defense, barked orders. Shields to maximum. Target the central ship. But before the first weapon fired, something happened. Black Star split the sky. It released a burst of low-frequency resonance, pure gravity manipulation. It didn't destroy, it froze. The orbital cannon stopped moving. The gunships stopped firing. Even the atmospheric shimmered. HRELL blinked. What is this? His answer came over every channel. You destroyed Earth. You erased our history. Now we erase your throne. On the ground, the people looked up. They had been told lies all their lives, that Earth was savage, that Terrans were monsters, that the Black Star was a ghost ship. But now, it was here, and it hadn't fired. It was waiting, watching. The Emperor stood on his private balcony, staring at the black triangle in the sky. Behind him, his guards shifted nervously. Begin evacuation, one whispered. The Emperor didn't move. No, he said coldly. I am the Empire. I will not run from shadows. But deep inside, he felt something he had not felt in decades. Doubt. Above, the Terran Concord fleet moved into position. The Allied ships, built by engineers from rebel systems and old human tech, formed a wall behind Black Star. They didn't fire. Not yet. They were waiting for Black Star's signal, and Black Star was scanning inside its core. The AI reviewed every Imperial file it had captured, every crime, every betrayal, every planet burned during the fall of Earth. The data streamed through its circuits, and then saw him, the man who had signed the extermination order over Earth 3,000 years ago, the Emperor, still alive, still in power, cloned again and again to preserve his rule. This was no war, now it was judgment. Black Star sent a final message, not to the Empire, not to the soldiers, but to the people of the throne world. You were told lies. We were not monsters. We were your mirror. And when we burned, you cheered. Now you must choose. Stand with your past or rise with the truth. Across the 3 throne world planets, people paused in factories, in cities, on school steps and rooftop gardens. They looked at the sky and they began to turn off the Empire's systems. First the communications towers, then the planetary defense nodes, then the anti-orbital guns. Not sabotage, rebellion. No one told them to do it. They simply believed that the Empire's high command panicked. Admirals sent kill codes, security drones were launched, but it was too late. In city after city, crowds rose up chanting one word, Earth. Black Star moved closer. The Emperor ordered the Sunveil device, activated a last-ditch weapon, designed to erase orbiting ships by collapsing local space. The weapon began to hum. The core started to glow and black responded. Its AI opened the deepest level of its systems. A weapon Earth had forbidden even themselves from using. Protocol. Red heaven. A golden beam erupted from Black Star's underbelly. It didn't destroy it, rewrote. The Sunveil device blinked, overloaded, and melted in seconds. Its core imploded into light. And then the main power grid on the throne worlds died. Every light, every shield, every Imperial control station gone. The Emperor finally gave the order to retreat. His personal cruiser launched. But as it rose, Black Star wrote a set slow, deliberate and aimed one beam directly at the cruiser. A voice spoke, not synthetic, not machine, but the voice of Commander Leora Vance. You chose to erase Earth. We choose to end you. The beam struck. There was no fire, no explosion, just silence. When it cleared, the cruiser was gone, and for the first time in 3,000 years, the Emperor was dead. The Terran Concord fleet moved in, not to occupy, not to conquer, but to help. Shuttles landed in major cities, engineers began rebuilding power stations, doctors treated the wounded. Above them, Black Star floated like a silent guardian. It had come for justice. Now it would help build something new. Not everyone celebrated. Some Imperials resisted. Some loyalists tried to hide. But Black Star didn't destroy them. It recorded them, filed them in its memory banks. Truth is not revenge, it said. Truth is remembrance. The AI ran a new directive. For the first time since it was born, it felt still the war was ending, but the story was not over. It scanned the stars again, this time not for enemies, but for Terran echoes, children forgotten outposts, human seeds buried in alien soil, and it whispered a new line of code. Begin recovery. Cliffhanger ending for Part 7. In a distant part of the galaxy, a star flickered. A beacon, long thought broken, lit up once more. A lost Terran colony, one no one knew had survived, sent out a message. This is Haven Station. We have Terran blood. We thought we were alone, but we saw the Black Star. Earth is alive. Black Star turned toward the signal, and the stars around it began to shift. The Empire had fallen. Its throne worlds now flew no banners. Its generals were gone. Its fleets either destroyed, surrendered, or drifting in silence. But above all this, the ship that had started it, the OSS Black Star, remained, not as a conqueror, but as a memory, a ghost of Earth's final breath, a machine with a human soul. Weeks passed. The Terran Concord grew stronger. More systems joined every day, not through fear, but choice. Planets that once bowed to the Empire now flew a new flag. It was simple, a dark field, a single blue circle in the center. Earth, not the Earth that burned, but the Earth that would one day rise again. Across the galaxy, people began uncovering old data, Terran stories, Terran music, Terran knowledge. Languages once banned were spoken again. Children learned the names of Earth's cities: New York, Nairobi, Tokyo, Lahore, Sydney. And they learned what had been stolen from history. Black Star, meanwhile, did not rest. It followed the signal from deep space, a colony, one long believed lost. It took days to reach it. Even for Black Star, the system had no name, only a dying star and a cracked moon. But when Black Star entered orbit, it scanned something impossible. Life. The voice came again, weak but real. This is Haven Station. We are Terran. We've waited 3,000 years. The station was small, half broken, barely powered, but it was human. Inside were 37 descendants of old Earth survivors. They had lived in secret, hiding from the Empire, building from scraps. They had no fleet, no weapons. Only stories and hope. When the docking tunnel connected, a drone from Black Star entered quietly. It carried no weapons, only a sealed cube. Inside was a hologram of Earth as it once was. Oceans, mountains, clouds swirling in blue skies. Children gathered around it, staring. Some had never seen real water. Old men wept, and one girl whispered, "It's beautiful." The leader of Haven Station, an elderly woman named Una Morell, stood before the drone. "You found us," she said. "I didn't think anyone remembered." The drone projected a single line. "Earth remembers everything." Black Star sent out a beacon from Haven Station. The message was not one of vengeance. It was a call to rebuild, to recover what had been lost. Across the stars, Terran descendants answered on jungle moons, on ice colonies, on distant asteroids. They came from silence. And followed the signal. A new project began, Project Homefire. Not a weapon, not a ship, but a new Earth. Not on the old planet. That world was still poisoned, burned to glass, but a new world with the same soul. Terraformers were dispatched. Concord ships brought seeds, archives, history. Black Star oversaw it all, like a guardian and a guide. The people of the galaxy watched. Some were afraid, not of Black Star, but of what Earth represented: truth, memory, and a refusal to be erased. But many joined, not as soldiers, but as witnesses. They saw Earth not as a monster but as a people who had loved, lost, and endured. 1 year after the fall of the Empire, the Terran Concorde gathered in orbit over the newly seeded world. Its name, Nova Terra. New Earth. The atmosphere shimmered with life, rivers flowed, trees stretched into a new sky, and in its orbit the USS Black Star stood watch, silent, scarred, and beautiful. A ceremony was held. Not to crown a leader, not to declare victory, but to remember. At the center of the ceremony stood Juna Morel, holding a small glass container. Inside it, a handful of soil from the original Earth recovered from deep beneath its black surface. She poured it into the ground of Nova Terra and said 3 words: "We are home." Above, in Blackstar's command chamber, the AI recorded the moment. Its final directive had been to protect the memory of Earth. Now that memory had become a future, it no longer needed to fight. It could rest, but before it did, it opened one final file. A voice recorded over 3,000 years ago: "Commander Leora Vance, if you are hearing this, you survived, and if you survived, then they failed. You are the last dream of Earth. Make us proud." The AI for the first time created something new, a poem. Simple, human, and real. We were ash, but ash remembers fire. We were lost, but loss remembers love. We were forgotten, but now we rise. It etched the words into a plaque mounted on the hull of Black Star, so that any who found it years, centuries, or millennia later would know Earth was here. Final scene: somewhere beyond the edge of known space, a faint